Hello and welcome to Sleep Cove with Christopher Fitton, the place to come for a great night's sleep. With Chinese New Year upon us and 2023 being the year of the rabbit, I researched the moon rabbit, the mystical rabbit that according to Chinese myth lives in the moon. So tonight I will start with a brief history of the rabbit and the moon, and then read the tale of Chang'e, who also came to live there. Then I will tell you the story of the animal race of the Chinese Zodiac, and a brief history of this Chinese myth. Also in my previous episode, the Festival of the Lanterns, the father in the story goes to the rabbit in the moon to complete his quest so he can be reunited with his family after unexpectedly travelling 150 years forward in time. So when you listen to this story, after learning about the moon rabbit tonight, you will understand it a little bit better. And let's begin. The moon rabbit or moon hare is a mythical figure in East Asian and indigenous American folklore, based on interpretations that identify the dark markings on the near side of the moon as a rabbit or hare. The legend of the Jade Rabbit is an ancient Chinese story that has been told to children for decades. In this mythological context, jade means moon, so when you say Jade Rabbit or hear it, it really means moon rabbit to Western ears. The myth tells the story of the white rabbit that lives on the moon and works with Chang'e, the goddess of the moon. According to the legend, the Jade Rabbit was sent by the Jade Emperor to the moon as a reward for its hard work in making the immortality elixirs. The rabbit is said to use a mortar and pestle to grind up herbs and plants to make the elixirs. These elixirs are believed to give humans eternal life. The Jade Rabbit is also said to keep Chang'e company in her palace on the moon. It is believed that during the Mid-Autumn festival, the Jade Rabbit can be seen on the moon mixing the elixirs of immortality. The legend is a reminder to us all of the importance of hard work and kindness, as well as a reminder of the beauty of the moon. During the Mid-Autumn festival, offerings are made to the Jade Rabbit in order to honour his noble and kind nature. He is also seen as a symbol of longevity, fertility, and good fortune, and is believed to bring good fortune to those who make offerings to him. Here is the story of how the Jade Rabbit got to the moon. One day, the Jade Emperor decided that he wanted some help preparing the elixir of life for the immortals. Fearing that humans would be too selfish and untrustworthy for such an important role, he thought an animal would be better suited to this responsibility. The Jade Emperor came down to earth disguised as a beggar and went to search for a worthy animal in a forest. As a famished and frail man, he cried out for help and food, and eventually 3 animals came to see if they could help: the monkey, the fox, and the rabbit. The animals were sympathetic to the old beggar's plight and went into the forest to search for food. The monkey returned laden with fruits he had gathered from up in the trees. The fox returned with some fish he had caught in a nearby stream. Despite searching throughout the forest, the rabbit could not find any food for the old man from the woodland floor. When he returned much later, he saw the beggar sat next to the fire, eating the fruits and the fish. The rabbit felt sad that he had not been able to find any food. Realizing that he could sacrifice himself so that the man could eat, the rabbit threw himself into the fire in an ultimate act of selflessness. But at that instant, the beggar turned back into the Jade Emperor and stopped the rabbit from being burned. Having found the most noble of creatures to take on the role of creating the elixirs, the Jade Emperor carried him up to the moon, where he learned to make divine medicines, and he could be kept safe from humans wishing to steal the elixir of life. The rabbit worked hard and learned to create the divine medicines, eventually mastering the skills required to pound the right ingredients to create the elixir of life. The Jade Emperor was so delighted with the rabbit that he made his fur a dazzling white. The heavenly glow from the rabbit's smooth, soft fur was so bright and beautiful it looked like a precious jade, which is why the other heavenly beings came to call him the Jade Rabbit. If you look up at the moon and squint slightly at the markings, you can see the Jade Rabbit with a pestle and mortar making the elixir of life for the immortals. The Mooncake Festival, the Lady on the Moon. The Mid-Autumn Festival, often called Mooncake Day, is a time of year when parents tell their children the wondrous tale of the beautiful lady on the moon, Chang'e. A long, long time ago, during the Xia dynasty, around 2000 BC, the earth was circled by 10 suns, each taking its time to shine down on the world. One day, all 10 suns appeared in the heavens, scorching the earth and drying out the water in the wells, rice paddies and lakes. Seeing the damage being caused to the earth, the emperor sent for his most skilled archer, Why, and ordered for 9 of the 10 suns to be shot out of the sky. Why climbed up the Kunlun mountain under the blazing heat and raised his bow to the skies. Such was the skill and might of our hero that he drew his bow back, and from it flew 9 arrows, striking 9 suns, leaving only one. Why was richly rewarded and was given a pill of immortality by the goddess of heaven, so he might continue to protect the emperor and the earth forevermore. The pill was only to be taken after a year of meditation and fasting, so Why hid it away, to be taken the following year. While Why was tending to his imperial duties, his beautiful wife Chang'e came across the pill in a pretty little box. It was beautiful, glowing and shimmering like a pearl. She took it out to examine it, just as her husband was returning home. Fearing that her husband would catch her looking at the contents of the box, she hid the pill in her mouth. Why was pleased to see his beloved wife and asked her if anything had happened while he was away. Chang'e tried to reply, but accidentally swallowed the pill. Lo and behold, she began to float upwards and out of the window. Try as he might, her husband could not keep her on the ground, and he watched helplessly as she floated away in the sky. Eventually, Chang'e reached the moon, where she came to rest under a tree. Here she met the friendly Jade Rabbit, who still keeps her company on the moon. On the Mid-Autumn festival, when the moon is particularly big and bright, if you make a wish to the lady on the moon, she might hear you, and your wish might be granted. The race of the Chinese Zodiac, the race to finish. There are many varieties of this story. Some say that the Jade Emperor called a race of animals on his birthday to create the Chinese Zodiac. Others say that it was in fact the Buddha who did. Nevertheless, both stories are essentially the same, excluding some minor details. According to myths, the 12 animals of the Chinese Zodiac were selected through a race. This race is meant to create a time measurement for the people. There could only be 12 winners, and in order to win, the animals had to cross a rapid current river and reach the finish line on the shore. Originally there was a cat and a rat who hated each other with a passion. It's hard to believe that they were once friends. These two were the worst swimmers in the animal kingdom, but they were both smart. They discovered that the fastest way to the river is to hop on top of the ox. The generous ox agreed to carry them across the river. However, the rat was so eager to win that he pushed the cat into the water. Thus, the cat never forgave the rat and wasn't included in the race. Other variations of the story say that the rat just never told the cat about the race and did not even compete at all. Afterwards, the ox and the rat made it to shore. The rat jumped in front of the ox and came first in the race. The ox came in second and the tiger finished in third. All of a sudden, a loud thumping sound came. It was the rabbit. It jumped from one stone to another and was doing well until it slipped. Fortunately, there was a log floating by, and it grabbed onto the log and floated to the finish line, earning the 4th place in the race. In 5th place was the dragon, but everyone thought it would come in first because it could fly. It told the Jade Emperor that it had to stop a couple of times to help some villagers, and on its way to the finish line, it saw a little rabbit on a log and decided to give a little puff of air to help it get to shore. After the dragon, the horse came galloping towards the finish line. The sneaky snake was hidden behind the horse's foot. It suddenly appeared and the horse was scared. The snake took advantage of this and landed itself in 6th place, and the horse landed in 7th. Soon after, the monkey, the rooster, and the sheep landed onto shore. Unlike some of the previous animals, these 3 actually helped each other to get to the finish line. The rooster found a raft, and the monkey and sheep hopped on. Working hard together through the water currents and the weeds, they reached the shore. The sheep came in 8th place, the monkey in 9th place, and the rooster in 10th place. In 11th place was the dog, Even though it was a great swimmer, it was late. It told the Emperor that it needed a bath, and the fresh water from the river was too tempting. Right when the Emperor was going to close the race, an oink sound was heard. It was the pig. Lazy little pig originated from this story. The pig felt hungry in the middle of the race, so it stopped and ate something and then fell asleep. After it awoke, it finished the race in 12th place and became the last animal to arrive. The order of the lunar calendar follows the outcome of the race, where the rat is the first animal to start the sequence and the pig is the last. After the pig, the sequence starts over again. The lunar calendar has been a significant calendar for China and the Chinese Zodiac. Many parts of the world are also familiar with this. The Chinese Zodiac in culture. Whether or not you believe in it, the Zodiac system is a useful way to understand Chinese culture. According to tradition, it reveals more than simply your age. It's a window into your personality, career, love prospects, and future good or bad fortune. The Chinese Zodiac follows the moon rather than the constellations, as in the Greco-Roman zodiac system. It is divided into a 12-year cycle, with a different animal representing each year. Every child in China, Taiwan, and Singapore knows the story of the Chinese Zodiac. It's something they learn from birth. Philosophy is deeply rooted in Chinese culture, and the Zodiac, combined with the principles of yin and yang and the 5 elements, asserts a remarkable influence over some people's decisions and beliefs. But if you ask them if they want to have children, they'll say, hey, it's not a bad idea to have a dragon baby. The Chinese believe certain animals get on better than the others, so parents choose specific years to give birth to babies because they believe the team effort by the right combination of animals can give prosperity to families. These individual family-by-family decisions might seem small-scale, but it causes an actual fluctuation in consumer demand and impacts the economy. Even if you don't believe in it, the Zodiac is a fun way to learn more about Chinese culture. It's a reminder of how important it is to pay attention to different societies and keep an open mind about our many differences and similarities.